Dang, they just said SpotemGottem, the guy beat up in the pen. They said they done A-Town stumped this man out in Florida. They said they done beat the brakes off, buddy. Some Bloods that beat him up while he was in jail. Let's go ahead.
When it comes to sliding on ops, well, SpotemGottem wasn't doing any of that, but they was definitely doing it to him. The rapper blew up with his 2020 song Beatbox that turned into a TikTok sensation. A year later, he got fired up in a Miami drive-by and luckily survived being shot 5 times. A year after that, his rap career would be shot down after it was exposed by yours truly that he snitched on his fellow gang member, YNR Mookie.
YNR Mookie exited the apartment followed by BigHomieDrako, who's more commonly known as Jacksonville rapper SpotemGottem. Both men were detained as an officer conducted a search of the residence. In the bathroom, a 9mm Glock and 9mm Springfield XDS were found fully loaded, each equipped with an extended magazine and a round in the chamber. With the search of the apartment concluded, Mookie was read his Miranda rights and invoked his right to remain silent.
So Mookie invoked his right to remain silent. He didn't want to say nothing.
SpotemGottem was then read his Miranda rights and provided the following statement. Spotem said he arrived at the house at 9
Banned from the streets! Get out here!
Should just kept quiet, bro. Doing too much talking.
p.m., stating he was sleeping on the couch when the police lights shined through the window. At that time, Spotem said Mookie began pacing in the living room saying, "Dang, man, the crackers are here." Spotem asked Mookie why he was freaking out, and Spotem told officers Mookie just kept repeating, "Dang, man, dang, man." Spotem stated he then observed Mookie walk into his bedroom and then walk out with items in his hand and a t-shirt covering them. Officers asked Spotem if he had any guess to what Mookie was carrying in his t-shirt, and Spotem said, "A pole."
So, I mean, this is the thing, right? The police are asking, what do they think he had? And, you know, SpotemGottem says,
Dang, they
guns.
got the whole arrest record. So, you told. It's okay.
I mean, it's like you're basically putting the guns in your homie's hands. You know what I'm saying? You're literally confirming that they were his, and then they found them in the location that you told them they would be in. I asked Harden if he had to guess what Jackson was carrying in his shirt. Harden said a pole. I asked Harden if he had used the bathroom since he was at the residence tonight, and he stated he did early in the evening. Harden stated the toilet flushed properly, which made him believe there was nothing in the water tank of the toilet. Harden stated Jackson was the only one to enter the bathroom prior to police arrival. Remember, that's where they found the gun. So you basically told on your boy. With Spotem's reputation getting smoked online, Lil Durk would go as far as sending him back the $100,000 Spotem paid for a feature. Considered a TikTok-driven one-hit wonder, none of his releases would exceed Beatbox in views, and the music began to slow down. Spotem was now making headlines for his arrests. A parking attendee was standing on business, telling Spotem and his 4-car entourage they need to pay the $80 parking fee. That's when the rapper pointed a gun with a green laser at him before telling him, "You know what it is," and fleeing the scene. Spotem would also be arrested for trying to flee police on a jet ski, and again for a high-speed chase in a Corvette which crashed. Officers recovered a Glock with a switch and found Spotem hiding in a shed. Fast forward to August 30th, 2024, Spotem will be sentenced to 3 years, 8 months, and 19 days in Florida State Prison. The internet began speculating if Spotem would last, knowing he stands a whopping 5'4", and truth be told, it seems like Spotem was ready to find out. On September 20th, 2024, Spotem would enter the...
That ain't Spotem, that's Bro-Rilla. Oh, that man look like Bro-Rilla. That is crazy. Hey, they might be related low-key. Cause that's Bro-Rilla. I don't
Florida
care what
Department
you say.
of Corrections, and only 1 month later, he DM'd me saying, "All my brothers murder. I put on for this shit. I'm G's with all the homies. I got the blanket wrapped around me. And once my brother Mookie come home, All the fool-ass allegations gonna be over with. I see you, homie, though. So to translate, SpotemGottem's been claiming sex, money, murder for years. He's always throwing up B's, whatever. And he's basically saying he's with all the bros. He's with all the bloods. He's good. They got the blanket around him, meaning he's welcome. And he's saying YNR Mookie is gonna clear his name when he comes home, as if we all can't read the paperwork for ourselves. You know, YNR Mookie, that was your boy. He can forgive you. But the paperwork is the paperwork, and you can't change that. Pictures would even make their way to the blogs of Spotem in cells or in the bathroom, showing not only was he in prison, but he was in general population. Unfortunately, the shit didn't last long. A Florida blogger slash TikToker from Madison County named DG Did It would post to Instagram a conversation with a current prisoner who not only witnessed Spotem get smashed off the pound, he ordered the hit.
So what the situation was, okay, you know you got these rat allegations on you. You got that you know that's blood, but he ended up getting in trouble because trying to bring him home money-wise, you feel me, trying to capitalize. So fool go to trying to be blood, so but before the got to the camp, the homies had already told him he can't be blood. So he tried to be west side, then he tried to be east side, then he tried to be Valentine. You feel me? He tried to jump to these different hoods, but I had already stamped, you can't be blood. There's no rat, that's our laws. There's rules to this shit, you get what I'm saying? Long story short, bring him home one-on-one, boom. The nigga who bring him home, we had a meeting with him, tell him that's a dub, he can't be homie. So he boot up on one of the homies, okay, the big that poster brought him home, end up getting blowed. Boom, the homie shoot him. Just out of disrespect that you trying to bring a rat home, so you really saying fuck blood, there ain't nothing bigger than this beat. So then a little fool go to talking sporty about, you know, how he living on the streets, whatever, to one of the bros. But at the same time, being that you was stamped as a dub and you can't be blood and you allowed him to bring you home anywhere, now you just show major disrespect to the nation. So we gave them boys like 24 hours to get them off the compound. And shit, it wasn't happening. Okay, boom, fool end up checking it in. I guess somebody ended up calling his old girl, so his old girl called up here, they put him in the box. So Lil Gangsta, I ain't gonna lie, Lil Gangsta signed a waiver saying he don't wanna leave the compound. You know, he wanna stay on the pound, so he signed the waiver saying that if anything happened to him, they're responsible, they let him back on the pound. So now me and the bros are looking like, my bad, but me and the bros looking like, that's a dub, fool got to go. So they ended up, Nation ended up stamping him as a plate. You feel me? So they ended up saying that he was a celebrity. So when a become a celebrity, meaning shoot on sight, you feel me? You get what I'm saying? So when the homies get called to perform, nobody couldn't catch him because he wouldn't leave the dorm. You get what I'm saying? And being the officers, they not green, so they got whiff for everything. So every time he moved, they was moving with him. So you know, me being who I am, you feel me? I'm barking with the homies like, yo, y'all making us look bad, cause when it's a who that on the plate, if it's a plate, he got to get off the compound. Cause then guess what, that compound go to looking like they not standing on business. So long story short, it was orchestrated, put the play in what it was, so he ended up getting out of confinement. When he ended up getting out of confinement now, he got to go to pick up his property. So when he was going to get his property, they had already orchestrated the play like this the best time to get him because he don't go nowhere. So we thinking it's gonna be sweet, but everything moving funny on the compound because it's like they know what's up. So he had a lady, an older officer, follow him. Well, she wasn't following him, my bad. He was walking over there, and it's like, while we about to get him, you get what I'm saying? The lady just called him out the blue, like, hey, spot him. He turn around, he go holler at her. I'm like, damn, that looking funny, because you know I'm not there to shoot. I'm really just there to make sure nothing gonna go wrong. So she walked back with him, but she put like a little 20 feet gap between her and him, so it ain't nothing else to say. The homie pulled up on him, shot him in his face and his neck, blowed him. He ran across the glass towards where the lady was, so she like You feel me? What's going on? Like, what's going on? He wasn't saying that at first, so then she see the blood leaking. He pointed back talking about on some same rat shit or niggas over there. So I'm looking like, man, bitch, he pointed at me and my dog, like, you feel me? But the nigga who shot him already gone, you feel me? No face, no case, so like, it wasn't on camera, it was in a blind spot, so he ended up getting gone, you feel me? But yeah, that's the whole situation with him transferring, bro. And everywhere he land at, it's gonna be a problem, you know what I'm saying?
Now, SpotemGottem,
Poke that man up in there. That man that got caught. Something crazy.
Someone using his page would go as far as commenting on DG Did It's video saying cap. So I requested the paperwork, and it's far from cap.
Damn.
In Florida State Prison, there is no such thing as PC, otherwise known as protective custody.
Damn.
Instead, it has another name, PM, or protective management. Florida doesn't offer PC yards like California or other states. Instead, they just put you in confinement, send you to a different prison until you get stabbed again, or send you to a prison that offers protective management units, aka PC dorms. Well, on June 6, 2025, inmate Nehemiah Harden, aka SpotemGottem, would have a protective management interview with an officer. Spotem would complete a DC 6112C, which is a witness statement form, but signed Section 3, a voluntary refusal to make a statement. The review would state Spotem was at the property line when he was assaulted by an unknown inmate. The details would be redacted, and Spotem would be placed in confinement pending protective management. So the story of Spotem being attacked in the property line appears to be true. I'd also get a copy of the incident report stating the same thing. It would also say Spotem would be known as a rapper, and they recommend placing him in a PM unit. So while Spotem allegedly signed a waiver thinking he was good in general population, he immediately got smashed off the pound and placed in a protective management before being transferred away. Now, the way they did this was essentially perfect, because when you get out of confinement, everybody knows you have to go to property. You have to go grab all your stuff that's basically been stored in there while you've been in confinement. And you don't have access to anything. You don't have a weapon, you don't have nothing. You go to property, then you go to the dorm, and you're brand new in the dorm, so you still gotta try to get something. They caught him at property, which means he must have been out of confinement for like an hour or something before they popped him. And it sounds like he got slashed. The way it was described, if he got hit with a lock, they would have said he got fired up. They said he got blowed. That's either stabbed or slashed. It would make sense. They hit him on the face, they hit him on the neck. He went running, they saw the blood, and you know, dude that did it obviously hauled ass, threw the weapon, whatever. But they knocked him off the pound ASAP. And the reason being was, if you pay attention to the story that was told, there was a blood who wanted Spotem to be a blood so that he could extort him, so he could be cool with him for the money. And he brought him home in a one-on-one, meaning they got in a cell and most likely pretended to fight. And he was like, yeah, homie, you blood, just make sure that money comes through. So they popped the dude that did that made him a blood, and then they popped him just because. Now, this whole situation is ironic, being how the internet was just up in flames about Boosie saying Kodak Black was PC in the feds. Young Thug would defend Kodak, saying he was smart for being PC. And well, this is a clear-cut example of what happens when you're no good on the yard and you decide to walk it. You either fire off and get yourself removed, or you fall victim. Now, the Bloods have made it clear he's a plate as heard on the audio, meaning any compound he hits with Bloods, they are expected to remove him. But SpotemGottem is clearly trying to stay ahead of the game, so he joined the Muslims, the one group that will accept any gang reject in Florida State Prison, defend them, protect them, etc. Honeycomb Brazy even spoke out on rappers debating PC, saying, hell nah, I ain't going to no PC. I don't give a damn if someone got a gun in the dorm. Boy, that's hard over there in PC. 23 hours a day on lockdown. You can't do nothing but be Muslim when you come home. Well, now SpotemGottem is Abdul Latif, and he's been transferred to Moorhaven Correctional, a private prison that only houses medium, minimum, and community custody levels. Now, the highest custody level you can have in Florida State Prison in general population is closed custody. And the fact that they aren't even allowed there, I'd assume he's at a sweet private prison they deem safe enough for him, as he's no longer in confinement.
Yeah.
SpotemGottem's current release date is set for January 2nd, 2027.
Wow.
So basically, he got...
I want to see what his face look like after he got his last. You know what I'm saying? But, dang. Being a rat really got consequences when you in the pen on me. But let me know what y'all think about this one. I don't know, bro. This diabolical. They done sliced the man's face up. Dude told what happened. He proud of it. Yeah, I set him up. Got to play together. Got to get him up out of here. He a plate. It's crazy. Dang. But let me know what y'all think about this one in the comments. I'll see you on the next one.